Hello and welcome to Life with Francy podcast, a place where you will find all kinds of conversations like mental health, self-care, self-love, trauma, hobbies, and more. With this podcast, I want to create a community where we support one another to get to the next level in personal life and business life. Hope you enjoy this episode. Now, let's get this show started. On today's episode, I have the pleasure to talk to Melanie. Melanie is an amazing woman, and she's going to teach us about EFT, tapping. And if you have talked to me, like my friends know, I love tapping, and she will go more into it. I'm just so excited. It's an alternative way to manage your emotions and heal. So let's just get this conversation started. So hi, Melanie. Welcome to the Life with Francy. So what is Life with Melanie?
Hey, Francy, thank you so much. What a pleasure to get to know you and meet you. I got into tapping about 10 years ago. I've always been a self-help junkie, so to speak, and I love seeking new ways of enjoying life. And that's just my personality. I'm definitely a self-help seeker. And so all through my life, I've been looking for ways to love the life I have. And that has led me in different directions. I've tried therapy and acupuncture and support groups and books. And I found a coach, and that's been kind of a new term in the last decade or so, a life coach. Yeah. And she kind of just changed me. And that's what actually made me want to be a coach. And I learned EFT the first time she did some energy work. Even people even talk about energy because there's energy all around us. We're all connected even with energy and electrons. And so I don't want to scare anybody about talking about woo-woo stuff, but EFT is actually recognized by Western medicine. And the other part of my story is that I've worked at the community hospital here for 21 years in the interventional radiology department, which means I take x-rays of arteries and veins. And so the thing is, I definitely have a Western medicine background. So I have a scientific mind. And yet when I saw this kind of stuff working in my life, it opened some doors, because being scientific, it's like, you want proof, you want evidence, and Western medicine has actually recognized that acupuncture, which is an Eastern medicine, does work, and you can reproduce the results. And so EFT is using a little bit of the theory behind acupuncture, because it's about meridians, that Eastern medicine looks at the body as an energy source, and that it has pathways, and kind of like just like arteries and veins, there's pathways from our heart all the way to the very tips of our fingertips and toes, and then there's pathways back to the heart. So our whole body, it has a circulation of blood flow. And then Eastern medicine looks at as these are pathways, energy pathways. So they don't look at it as the blood circulation, but they have these maps and roadways in the whole body that can get interrupted, just like blood flow can get interrupted, right? So this energy flow, our paths, and when things happen in our life, like let's say a traumatic event, or even feelings that don't get released, or feelings and emotions that affect us, but we kind of push them down, we don't necessarily deal with them, they get stuck. It's like they get stuck inside of our body, and it can reduce the flow of energy in our body, or it can create, like a roadblock. And so the energy has to go around, which could just make things slower, or there could be traffic in this energy flow. And so sometimes it's like, we don't know what's wrong with us. We're like, why do I feel so tired? Or maybe, we have this like gnawing pain in our shoulder, or our knees hurt, or our back hurts, or, we actually get sick, and Eastern medicine believes that there could be, this is what they believe. They believe that there's stuck energy. And if you treat that energy so that everything's flowing, then you can heal those pains, physical and emotional. And so EFT is actually working on, without using needles, because acupuncture puts needles in these meridians, where emotion freedom technique is,
Yes, thank
acronym
you.
is EFT, emotion freedom technique, AKA also known as tapping. So you can look up, there are so many wonderful resources online today. I mean, I'm always loving all the information out there about tapping. And you can't do tapping wrong, because it's the intention. And when you have a positive intention for healing and loving yourself and caring for yourself or other people, you can't go wrong. And so a lot of people are worried about, oh, I don't know how to do it, or I think I did it wrong. You just embrace that the intention is to heal and love and care for yourself, and you really can't go wrong. And I love teaching this kind of stuff to kids, because it's so simple, and and it calms them. They've actually proven that this tapping on these points in your body, you're literally just tapping on points on your body, like on the top of your head, on your temples, by your mouth, by your collarbones. Those are some specific points where tapping can calm the central nervous system. And we know that when we calm the central nervous system, we're able to think better. So even if it's just for that, even if we're just using it to calm the central nervous system so that our brain is back online, so to speak, so that we're not thinking from that fight or flight, life is going to be so much better.
Yes, I love it. I love all the information, and I'm trying to calm down because I have never had anybody to talk about EFT, emotional freedom technique, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Emotion freedom technique.
because
Yeah.
I want to go for like the people that don't know anything about it, because that's pretty much my friends. I found it because I have gone through trauma. So if you tell me to scratch my head 3 times a day and it will work, I will do it. So tapping was one of the techniques that I found through my healing. And I love it. So can you explain it for somebody that has never heard of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So so basically, through EFT, the person is encouraged to move through negative feelings towards a more positive reframing, meaning,
Okay.
and scientific studies have proved the efficiency of EFT, and evidence continues to grow. It may even seem like woo-woo, but the proof is in the pudding. And so basically what happened for me is I had no idea what was even going on when my coach started having me tap my head, and she was helping me release emotions. And she said, okay, I'm going to have you start from right between your eyes, and you're going to tap on your head going back towards your neck. And you're going to say the word confusion 3 times while you're tapping. And what happened is we released like six emotions, and I felt surprisingly at ease. I felt surprisingly at peace. And sometimes even, a lot of people have anxiety attacks. So this is like, I've been hearing more and more about panic attacks and feeling anxious, especially, with the pandemic. We've been, isolated, and getting back into the swing of things, getting back into being around people is causing anxiety. And it's kind of it's natural to feel that, because especially introverts, they actually liked it that we were at home by ourselves. And I will say even extroverts are feeling this kind of social anxiety, because our brain gets used to whatever we're doing. And so at first we didn't like being at home, and then now we've been at home, and so now it's time to go back out, and it's like, oh, we're just resisting the change, right? So I even wanted today to even go through just a real easy, simple tapping, so that people could use the tapping right away, and that it would be easy to remember. Important thing that people sometimes resist is that we're focusing on the negative, because what we're doing is we're releasing the negative. So don't get it confused with like, this is not an affirmation, because some people, we want to push down negativity, right? We want to numb ourselves to it. We avoid feeling bad. We don't want to feel bad, right? And so we pretend like it's not there, or we try to cover it up. We don't want anyone to see. And those are some of the survival or coping mechanisms that we do. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows what EFT is for. So it's for shifting and releasing emotions that are keeping us stuck doing the same thing. And so you spoke of trauma. Yes, EFT is awesome for trauma. I help people with PTSD, with physical and sexual abuse, traumatic experiences. It's also good for just everyday people that need to manage their emotions, because emotions will manage you if you do not manage them. And working in the medical field, I really believe that if we're not taking care of our emotional and mental health, we get physically sick. I mean,
Yes.
I believe that stress causes illness. I believe it causes cancer. I believe it causes injuries to our body, even if we're like playing sports. Just having that little bit of extra stress breaks down our immune system. It breaks down our muscles. It breaks down the strength that we could have. And a lot of us are numb to our emotions. We don't want to feel them so much that we use food, alcohol, drugs, shopping, sex, whatever it is, to kind of numb the negative feelings, because we want to feel good all the time. So this is for people that are willing to open themselves, to acknowledge what the truth is about what's going on in their life, so that they can release it. And so all we're doing with tapping is you're touching places on your body. They could be like pressure points, or meridians is what we call them. But there's this point right here on your, we call it the karate chop point, and it's right where you would karate chop some wood, right? So it's on the side of your pinky, of your fifth, metacarpal here on the side of your hand. And you're just easily, with the other hand, you're just tapping there. And we say a statement to acknowledge the negative feeling. And then we say something like, even though I feel this pain, I love and accept myself anyway. Or we can say, I want to love and accept me. Because some people are in a place where it might not be the truth that they love and accept me. So most people want to love themselves more. So we want to have a setup statement that that someone can say that feels somewhat comfortable to say. I've even used, I wish I could love and accept myself. Because we're made to love and accept each other and ourselves. It's just that somewhere along the line in our lives, there's been events and maybe even DNA has been passed down energetically, that there's a disconnect there. But that, I really believe, it's my personal belief that we were made to love one another and love ourselves and love a higher power and have that kind of connection. I mean, that's what I believe life is all about. So in order to do that, EFT is helping us, let go of some of these barriers and these walls that we put up that disconnects us from one another and even ourselves. So that's what EFT does. We're basically tapping on parts of our bodies while we're talking and letting it out. Also, I think by talking through our vocal cords, it's another way to release. Like if anyone's ever heard of like a throat chakra, sometimes there's energy stuck right here in our throat chakra and we won't talk. And so we won't let it out. And so all of, so there's an energy system down the front of us. It's a meridian, but it's also where all the chakras are too. And so that sometimes can have a blockage. And so these are ways to just increase the flow of energy and move energy that isn't working for us and increase the circulation of energy so that we feel better.
I am loving all of it, especially because you're talking about Eastern medicine, Western medicine. I mean, you got both connected and you're speaking the language for somebody that believes in the energy world and somebody that doesn't, that needs this scientific facts. So I'm loving all of it. You are not going wrong with anything that you're saying. Because like, especially with the chakras and stuff, I'm really learning about it, but because of my family's beliefs, I have a stop to it. But I do understand when you're saying like you can't speak on it, but if you say it out loud, like it will become real pretty much. Because I've been trying to change the negative self-talk into positive self-talk. And then I love how you say that if we don't believe it yet, like we choose a different word, like I want to. That would have changed my life just 3 years ago because I kept repeating the affirmations. But if I don't believe them myself, then it wasn't doing anything.
Yes, because our brain will have a fight inside because our subconscious mind is kind of like in the bottom half of our brain and our conscious mind is in the top. And there's this little line, and there's actually a word for it. It's called the reticular activating system, RAS. And that's just the scientific part of it. But basically what it is it's a roadblock. So when I have a thought, like, if I'm trying to improve how I feel about myself and get rid of a limiting belief and work through a trauma and move on from something that's holding me back, it's like, I want to get married, or I want to have a better relationship, or I want more money, right? So just by saying, I am successful and have a great relationship, your brain's like, it's like the conscious brain wants that, but then as it tries to get into the subconscious, there's this roadblock. And it's like there's a police officer saying, let me check if there's a file here for that thought. And the brain's very smart. So it goes through like these filing cabinets. It's like the police officer is looking through and he's like, no, we don't got that here. Turn around. And so we have to figure out how to get past the police officer. You know what I mean? Like, we have to get past the roadblock. And the way we do this is the conception of neuroplasticity, which means our brain is like plastic. It is pliable. We can, in fact, change the way we think and our perspective of the way we look at things. But guess what? It's gonna take something that a lot of Americans don't want to do. I know. It's called work, and it's called repetition, and it's called being consistent.
Yeah,
We
yes.
have to go to that police officer. We have to turn around, and then we have to come back. We have to keep coming back until he lets us through. And we have to keep showing the police officer evidence that I want this thought in the file cabinet, in the subconscious mind, because we all already have these beliefs in the subconscious mind. That's why it's automatic. That's why when I say mean things about my body image or the opposite sex or people I don't like, it's because I already have a programming in myself, in my lower part of my brain, my automatic brain. It already has a file that those people are bad. Those people have hurt me. I don't like the way I look. And so, you know, you already have that programming. So to change it, we have to get past the police officer to put a different file in there. And we do it with repetition, because you've repeated, I don't like myself, so many times. There's a whole filing cabinet in there. And so when you go to the roadblock and you're like, I don't like myself, he's like, go right ahead. We got that. You're in the right place. Go right ahead. You know? And so it reinforces that road in our brain. So that's the cool thing. The goal with tapping is to realign the body, mind, and spirit in order to let go of those negative beliefs and thoughts, you know, that the tension that they cause, to move forward in a positive healing direction. That's the whole point of tapping.
Oh my God, where were you 5 years ago? Just 5 years. Let's not even talk about 10 years ago. Oh, I am loving all of this. So do you offer like a one-on-one coaching, a mastermind? How do you work with your clients?
Well, right now I do a lot of one-on-ones, and I do, because it's sometimes a lot of people have one-on-one things that they don't want to talk about with a group. I have done group workshops. The thing with the internet is that if someone wants to look into tapping, there are so many free resources online. And that's where I would start. I would start with the free stuff, because there's so much that we can do. And you can even Google what your problem is.
Yeah.
And put EFT in there, and they will give you a script. I have seen so many great scripts out there for body image, marital problems, difficult conversations, just you name it, they got it. So that's the cool part. There's free resources. Now, something like somebody having a real difficult problem in their life that's been there for a long time, I would say it's probably going to take a professional to help them. Also, some of this icky stuff that people have hidden and put under the carpet for so long, they don't want to hash it out by themselves. You know, they suspect that this thing that happened 20 years ago is probably not completely healed, but they have just numbed it or pushed it so far down. Why would they want to bring it back up, especially by themselves? You know, so one of my favorite clients that I was able to heal with EFT, and it took, like, she doesn't have the problem today, is a phobia, a water phobia. So she was on the Coast Guard and she witnessed death, recovered dead bodies, and she also was on a all men Coast Guard team. And so she was with only men, and then she was seeing these traumatic experiences. So there was a lot of trauma around water for her, to the point where she would get a panic attack just watching Pirates of the Caribbean with the water scene.
Wow. Yeah.
And so she was terrified of water. I'm surprised she could take a shower. I mean, she was terrified. And before, I always say 6 sessions, I can make a tangible difference in your life. Just 6 sessions. I mean, that's not that much. And before we even got to number 6, she could watch Pirates of the Caribbean, which was like a no-go before.
God.
And she was able to, water wasn't a problem. So to me, being able to clear these things that happened a long time ago, that we think a lot of us think time heals. I don't believe that to be true. It's still in there.
You gotta do some work.
And it'll come out in weird ways. You won't know, that's why I think cancer is like, it's like, well, I've been so healthy and I've done so many great things. And it's like, how come all of a sudden I have cancer? It's like, that cancer could have started 25 years ago. And this is just my opinion, but just working in the medical field, I've seen a lot, and it doesn't seem, to me, the common denominator is people's experience and stress and the way they deal with it, and I think even when someone I've seen people get cancer and heal like no problem. And I can't help but to see the way we react to life when it shows up, and our attitude towards it, and our faith and our belief system. And it doesn't even have to be spiritual or religious. It's what's in our subconscious mind is how we react. So if we want to react different to these life-altering circumstances like the pandemic or someone dying, we have to get into the subconscious mind, because our reactions, if you don't like the way you're reacting to life right now, it's because your subconscious mind doesn't have the mindset. When we talk about, just change your mindset, this is how you do it. You have to get past the police officer.
Yeah, no, I love that analogy, because like it's literally like that. You deep inside, like, it's right, but you will have these roadblocks. And just as simple as, I love myself. Yeah, you can have that roadblock that is like, okay, sweetie, we got all this data that proves that you don't love yourself.
Exactly.
So it's like changing that. And I love it. I have never thought about using tapping for phobia, because like, I don't know how to swim. So now I'm going to put tapping to the test, because I was at the lake over the summer, and we were like in 3 deep water, 3 feet of water. And like, I was cool, but then I was trying to walk and it had an 8 feet drop. And when my feet my foot felt nothing, I got scared and I went back, and I just stayed in my 3 little feet of water. Yeah. And like, that's something that I really want to overcome, and I have never thought about it. So I can't wait to like use tapping.
Okay. So I have a little script that I wanted to share. And so this is perfect.
Yes.
Since you already had this experience and you just shared it. Can you give me, from a 1 to 10, how stressful it felt in the water when you were thinking?
100.
Okay. So this is the cool thing. You want to, okay, so we're just going to use 1 to 10. So we'll say 10.
Yes, 10.
Okay.
There you go. Sorry.
And then I want you to tell me right now, when you think of getting in the water, how stressful it is from a 1 to 10.
Oh, yes, 10.
10. So this is what you do when, and hopefully they'll say this on the site, wherever you go for Google to look up EFT tapping. You always want to check in with yourself where you are when you start. And so I want to invite your guests to think about something stressful in your life. You want to pinpoint a target. So the more specific you can get about a target and write the intensification of what that is, you're going to be able to notice the difference. Okay. So that's why I asked, what was it like when you were there? And what does it feel like right now if you thought if there was water in front of you and I was like, okay, go jump in the lake, right?
Yeah, no.
So you want to check like what are those two numbers? Like if it was something in the past or if it's right now, check in with yourself where it is right now from a 1 to 10, 10 being the negative intensity of how stressful that situation is. And because stress is such a kind of a blanket emotion, I feel like your listeners can find something in their life that they can rate stress from a 1 to 10.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so then I'm gonna have you just follow me and I'll so since this is audio, I'll just tell the place where you're gonna tap. So the first place we always tap is the karate chop point, which is on the side of your 5th finger. And you're gonna repeat this statement with me 3 times. Even though I feel stressed, I want to love and accept me.
Even though I feel stressed, I want to love and accept me.
So you're going to think about that stressful situation. Even though I feel stressed, I want to love and accept me.
Feel stressed? I want to love and accept me.
Even though I feel stressed, I want to love and accept me.
Even though I feel stressed, I want to love and accept me.
Okay, you're going to tap on the top of your head. That's stressful.
That's stressful. Yeah.
And then you're going to tap on right above your eyebrow or on your eyebrow. That's stressful, all right.
That's stressful, all right.
On the side of your temple, that is stressful.
That is stressful.
Underneath your eye, I feel stressed.
I feel stressed.
Then right underneath your nose, on the top of your lip, when I think about that, I feel stress.
When I think about that, I feel stressed.
And then below your bottom lip, I feel stressed.
I feel stressed.
You're going to tap on your collarbones. I feel so stressed when I think about that.
I feel so stressed when I think about that.
And then you're going to tap underneath your armpit. Stress.
Stressed.
And then you're going to tap on the back of your wrist by your palm, but on the wrist. So much stress.
So much stressed.
It's still there.
It's still there.
And I feel it.
And I feel it.
Then you're going to tap right between your 5th and 4th metacarpal bone on your hand. So it's on your hand, on the other side of your hand. So much stress.
So much stress.
So what would you rather feel instead of stress?
Calm.
Okay. So on the top of your head, I could choose to be calm.
I can choose to be calm.
On your eyebrow, even though there's still some stress there.
Even though there's still some stress there.
I can consider thinking about being calm.
I can consider about being calm.
On your temple. I realize stress isn't helping the situation.
I realize stress is not helping the situation.
Underneath your eye. Stress adds to the situation.
Stress adds to the situation.
Underneath your nose. I wonder if I could choose being calm.
I wonder if I can choose being calm.
Underneath your bottom lip. What could I do right now to think of a calming, safe place?
What can I do right now to think about a calm and safe place?
On your collarbone. When I think of this situation, I'm stressed.
When I think about this situation that I'm stressed.
Underneath your armpit. I can choose calm.
I can choose calm.
I can think calm.
I can think calm.
I can practice feeling calm.
I can practice feeling calm.
Okay, on the back of your wrist, by your palm, I can receive calm feelings.
I can receive calm feelings.
I can take a deep breath in.
I can take a deep breath in.
On the back of your hand, by your fifth and fourth fingers, I can take a breath in of calm.
I can take a breath in of calm.
And blow out the stress.
And blow out the stress.
Okay, I'm gonna have you take a really deep breath in right now and just kind of shake your arms out. Roll your shoulders a little, shake your fingers. Take a deep breath in and blow it all the way out. Okay, now listen, before you say anything, I'm gonna have you just check in with your body. And I'm gonna have you think of the water being in front of you, and I want you to tell me the intensity of stress from a 1 to 10.
Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna work as I'm in the water, but like right now I will say around a 3 or 4.
Okay, so you responded pretty amazingly, right? So, and notice how I said, I didn't say get in the water. I just said, look, if you just look at the water right now, what's your stress from a 1 to 10?
Yeah, no, 3 or 4. It's not.
So that's amazing. Usually
Yes.
when people are at a 10, I mean, that only took a couple minutes. When someone's at a 10, the normal to just do we did 2 rounds, is about 1 or 2 steps down. So for the rest of you normal people, if you only went 1 or 2 down, that's actually more average response. But the thing is, when people say, oh, it didn't work, it means there's a couple reasons why it might not work. It could be you're dehydrated, so you're not really connected with your body, because sometimes just chemically we can be off. So integrating our brain, like taking a quick little walk, drinking a glass of water, can kind of get our brain connected, so that we're able to connect with the negativity, so we can release it. We have to connect to it to let it go. So that could be one reason. The other one is that we're not consistent enough, or we don't do it long enough. Sometimes we don't get specific, so that could be another reason why it might not work. But the ultimate thing is that it can't hurt anybody to try it.
Yes.
Right? And you can't do it wrong, because the intention is good, right? So I always like to kind of throw that out there. And there's probably some other things that I'm forgetting to tell you, but ultimately the beauty of this is, like, I can tell even your demeanor, you feel pretty calm right now.
Yeah, and I wanted to add too, like I've been into tapping before, so this is amazing for me to do it with an actual professional because I've been doing it with YouTube people. I just been searching when I found out about tapping, and like I'm all in it. So I'm not like I don't have a wall because I do believe in tapping, and that's why like I can see it like how I can use that scenario for other parts of my life. And yes, even my body language right now feels a lot calmer than I
Exactly.
was at the beginning of the interview, because I still get like the jitters and I get all like, nervous when the interview starts and
Well, and
everything.
that's
So
excitement, and don't confuse being nervous with excitement, because you are excited and you have a message to share with people. And I just think it's awesome. I love your energy. I think it's inspiring and it's contagious. So when I
thank
see you
you.
get so excited, that makes me excited. And so we need more people that are excited about life and are passionate about what they're doing, because that
Yes.
rubs off on people. So
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, because that excitement is good and it's energetic and it flows out to other people and it is contagious. That's why, a lot of times when you smile at people, they'll smile back, because smiles are contagious. And we want to
Yes.
spread we want to spread the love and smiles and excitement. So I'm loving your energy, girl. You're doing it.
Thank you so much. So where can my listeners find you? I love the conversation with you. I can talk to you forever, but today is a full day of interviews.
Got you. So happyjoyousandfree.org is my website. I wrote a book about 2 years ago, Happy, Joyous, and Free. Love your life no matter what. You can get that on Amazon. My name's Melanie Yates. I have a TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, but my website, happyjoyousandfree.org, is a way to set up a consultation. And I always, right now anyway, I do free consultations to just sit down with you and see where you're at, find out what kind of results you want, and then I'm able to tell you what I can do for you. So I always like to get to know people to make sure it's a good fit. I also know tons of coaches with different modalities that I may be able to refer you to. So it's an incredible opportunity to reach out. I would love to meet you and get to know you better. So hope to meet you soon.
Awesome. I love this. Thank you so much for your time. I really had a great time and learned so much. And I'm definitely going to like, when I drop the interview, like I'm going to re-listen and re-listen to it. Oh, so thank you too for what you do, because it's really necessary. Um, um, that has been known too for like military people. I didn't say that at the beginning, but it is very known in the military world because it is something that it really works with PTSD and trauma. And just if you want to change from negative to positive, it doesn't have to be something major. It's just a great technique to have in the, as your one of the tools to help you heal.
Absolutely. I use it daily because I'm constantly, feeling things. And I always say if things aren't going my way, then I feel irritable and disturbed. So
Yes.
I get to constantly take a look at where I'm at, and I'm human. And so guess what? I feel things.
Awesome. Well, all her information will be in the show notes as always. Thank you so much for listening to another episode. I hope you enjoyed this interview as much as I did, and I hope you have a blessed day.